Now this starts to look more like an actual sort of operational truck than it did previously, when there was just sort of like the body rails in place. Come back and type that in a second. Got a spanner, I might as well use it. I've got a spanner and I'm not afraid to use it. Although it's of absolutely no use in this particular case. Because, well, it is. If I put the spanner in the right place, it might have helped instead of trying to get it from the wrong angle. Ah, well. There we go. Rear mud guards with rear mud flaps fitted. And now you can see this thing is starting to look bigger. Okay, it's now starting to take on some of the scale of the actual truck. I mean, up until now you kind of got used to this long thin thing. Even when you put these on the end, on the sides, didn't really look big. Now you've got the big wheel arches in place here with the side skirts, and now you're starting to see the actual size of this vehicle. So the next thing now is the front. Essentially, what is the front mud guards, and then what would be the base of the cab, I guess, the cab floor, but it's where you actually end up mounting the remote controls. Now then, this is part P5. Is that P5? That's 5 and it's P, so yeah, that's part P5. Now this is a purely internal part, so entirely up to you how careful you are with it. I kind of like to be as careful with the stuff that's hidden as the stuff that's visible. Because I know it's there, and also it stops me forgetting. So when I do a visible part, I don't just go willy-nilly at it and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that. If I do them all like that, then I don't have a problem. Now then, I want part R. Now where's R? That'll be this one. R5 and R4. And it is R. So that's this one here, which has already broken off its tree of the sprue. Just from movement in the thing. By the way, when you're holding these, be careful. Things like this, which is the wiper blade, is quite fragile. So when you get in the, when you tend to put them in the box or with piles like to one side here, you be careful yanking stuff out, you know, because you can damage some of the delicate parts. I now want some screws out of pack C. I want 4 BC1 screws. A, C, this one. Oh, these are the self-tapping ones. Nice and easy. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. Front fenders, it describes them as. Yes, apparently, as I noticed last on the last stream, it mentions here 2 e-ring tools. I don't know why it mentions them at the bottom of this page, because they're not used anywhere on this page. But some e-ring tools, which are the little, sometimes they get called circlips, but the circlips are actually different things, to press them into place. I don't know if it also can be used to unpress them to get them out, but yeah, it would appear that Tamiya sell e-ring tools. Don't come as part of the kit, unfortunately. So now then, we now need to mount this. So one goes on that side there, and one goes on this side here. I don't quite know why, but there's not, these are slots rather than, I suppose it allows you to start to put the screws in and then slide that in afterwards. Maybe that's the idea. Don't know. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to hold that there and screw this in. Hello. Maybe that's the reason, because you can't get them in, they fall apart. Self-tapping screws going into plastic. Don't need any thread lock. Serves no purpose whatsoever on these. Enough to hold it in place while I put the other screw in. And I can tighten them both down. Make sure it's sat, it is correctly. Whilst I describe it, it's tightening them down. As I said before, this isn't a case of yanking the things down as tight as you can possibly get them. You do that, you're more than likely just to strip the thread on the plastic. Then the screws won't hold, and you'll either have to get some different ones or start messing around. The idea of these is just to feel until it sort of easily stops, if you see what I mean. You've reached the bottom of the screw head has met the plastic, and then just a little tiny bit more, just to put a tiny bit of tension on it. So that's bottom down there. Now that's sort of in place, doesn't want to easily turn. I just a little tiny, it's not even 1/10 of a turn, just a nip, just to put that little bit of tension on to hold the two together. Okay, so that's the next part, which I then now need to go and pick up. This is getting harder to pick up. I need to put that to one side. Let's turn the page, because this is about mounting some other parts on, mounting it onto the body. Okay, so this will be going in here somewhere. Probably about there. And I'll have to make sure I don't have anything trapped, or otherwise yeah, at the moment. So it'll be going somewhere around there. I will need to put thread lock in place, so I will do that before I forget anything else, but we need to get some bolts out for this. So this is probably the cab mount. Yeah, and there's a mount there for an aerial, which I'm not going to put in because I don't need it. So we'll leave that off. So there's the plate mounting screws, and then there's the body lock mounting. As I say, I will leave off the screw that and the terminal washer. When you, for things like 2735 meg radio where you've got a long aerial, what they did provide you with here is a wire whip, a smallish sort of wire whip, nothing particularly fantastic. It's around in one of these bags, I don't know where off the top of my head, but it is just a thin piece of wire. With the 5 gig, is it 5? 2.5 gig radios. You don't need it. the aerials are only this long, so they just sort of sit in the body. So I'm not even going to put the screw in there for it. So let me get the parts out. First of all, is that a metal part? Q10. No, it's not. It's plastic. It's the last part on here. He says, checking this is Q. It is, and it is that piece here. Now that's finished, don't really need it anymore. Having said which, some modelers do keep the sprues for a couple of reasons. One is, these are reasonably, apart from the other things, but these are sort of nice round bits of plastic. So if you want something like a rod on a model, you've got a nice roundish piece here. This one is sort of about 2 or 3 inches long. Some of these have got little flat bits on the bottom, so if you want it to have like a grab rail, if you like, that's around the side of something like that, a grab rail or something like that. You've even got nice flat mounting bits on the bottom, a couple of dabs of glue, you've got that in place. What you can do with this as well is, if you've got the right solvent, you can dissolve some of this in solvent and make a thick paste, which then becomes a filler. And you can buy filler, but you can make your own with a bit of solvent and this, and you can make it as thick or as thin as you like, and you can use up your trees for that. So this, I say the aerial mount would go there. I'm not putting it on, and then that will sit on top of there, and this, and then the body just there's a peg here that the body goes, and you put a clip in it. He says, wonder if that's what the other clip's for. Never mind, we'll find out. So now I need to get the screws out before I put the thread lock in. So I don't want one of those, and I don't want the BA6. So I want 8 BC2s. 8 BC2s. Okay, let's be BC2s. That's these thin, small ones. Okay, that goes there. Right, fair enough. One. Two. Of course, at this point you can see you end up almost pouring all the others out, just because there's now more of the others than these. 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. And the final one, 8. There you go, drops out. So 8 nuts to go in. That means there is 8 lots of thread lock I need to slot in place. Oh, that cut out. I wonder what the cut out there is for. It's for the servo rod. Clever. One, 2, 3, 4, and the same on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3. This thread lock, the smell of it reminds me of something. I don't know. I mean, there's a mild solvent in it, but maybe that's what I'm smelling. But it reminds me of something. I just don't know what. Now this might be where you need a particular screwdriver. I don't know if that one fits. It doesn't. So you do need a screwdriver with a thin barrel to get in these here. This is that I've got here is a jeweler's screwdriver. You're going to be a pain, aren't you? And I think I know why. Jeweler screwdrivers have spinny tops. That's so that when you hold it like that you can spin it with your fingers, but you can still put pressure on. Clever, really. Again, I'm not tightening these down just yet. I'm just getting them into the holes and screwed down. This one might be a little bit awkward. Oh, no, it's gone in. I thought I might end up having to just unscrew the gearbox here and just ease it one way or the other very slightly, but I can now just make sure they're in place. Again, thread lock will do the job. Thread lock isn't there to stop, well, this thread lock isn't there to stop you unscrewing it. It's there to stop the vibrating the screws loose. Cloud sky! Oh, no way! Good evening. No. There's it's actually relatively close to a finished build, I guess, but there's no way this will be finished this evening. There's still several hours worth of work on this. There's the whole body, the whole cab to put together. There's some detail in the cab, not a lot, but there is sort of console detail, steering wheel, seats, so the whole cab has to be done. There's the front end to go on here, so there's the front grills and bumpers to go on, and then there's the wheels, which probably are coming on next or very soon. So there is sort of several hours worth of work still to do on this to finish it. Doesn't look like there's a lot to do, and of course it hasn't been painted. Whilst I've mounted these, they are going to be painted, so they'll be coming off ultimately, and then going through painting along with most of the cab extraction, and that's a few hours work by itself. I'm just going to move that to one side. Next thing in the manual it's talking about is the mounting of the remote control and the battery. Well, I'm not mounting the remote controls just yet, that'll come later, and I'm certainly not putting the battery in place. And then it's on about how to set up the controls for the gear change and the correct setting and alignment of the steering, which is stuff I will do later. Next thing is to put the wheels together and then mount them, so we actually then look like we've got a rolling truck. And then the body.